What'd you think being in the new studio?
It's nice. I mean, it's cool to be able to do this in person with you both. Like, you know, the standard setup works fine, but it's nice to have the immediacy. No lag.
Yeah.
As far as I'm
Low
aware.
lights, well lit, nice sign.
I think I miss the headphones though.
I don't.
Makes me feel more official.
I like that you demonstrated as if you wore like big clunky headphones anymore.
I would continue to wear the overhead ones, but Adam
I think you'd
prefers
prefer a helmet if you can get away with it.
Do you guys like my shoes?
They look like shoes. They're nice.
They're new shoes.
Wallabies, dude. Wallabies. I used to wear them all the time in high school.
Are they made from Wallaby?
No, they're Clark's.
Okay,
they're a British brand.
Nice.
Suede. Anyways, all right, let's get into it. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool, let's rock this shit. From VinePair's New York City headquarters, I'm Adam Teeter.
And I'm Joanna Sherino.
And I'm Zach Jabal.
Wow, he's here.
Yep.
I was almost going to answer literally, and in Seattle, Washington, and I just didn't.
This is the VinePair podcast.
This is the VinePair podcast, guys. Yeah. So it's great to have you here in New York City in studio.
On video.
On video, live and in color.
I'm a proof of life. I will hold up today's New York Times. I don't have it, but yeah.
You're not AI.
I am not. I've not been digitally inserted into this podcast.
I feel like because you are here as the guest, not a guest in the pod, but a guest at the studio.
Yes.
You can go first. What have you been drinking?
Well, I will say I'm going to save my New York drinking exploits for the next time we do this because of the timing of recording didn't quite line up with all of the many, many things I intend to drink on this trip. But I will say that I did do some drinking on my way here.
On the plane?
On the plane and at the airport lounge beforehand.
Okay. What are your like orders?
Okay, so I will say I had 2 gins and tonics at the SeaTac Airport Lounge, Lovin' Airport Lounge, which was fine. I don't even know what gin they used. I did not ask.
Yeah.
It went well with watching some football. And then I had, so on Alaska, which is when I flew, they have the straightaway cocktails, a couple of them, and had the Oregon Old Fashioned, which is my go-to usually when I'm on those flights. It's good. It's like, it is the nicest drinking experience that I've had on a plane pretty much anywhere except for like maybe one very nice trip to France with some nice wine.
You know what I think is interesting is that I really appreciate the airlines that have the canned cocktails on. Like Alaska has it, and then also who has
Delta obviously has.
No,
they used
that's
to.
what I was talking about. So
so
Charles Jolie's just got added to either United or some. Craft House is on one of them now.
A Craft House, right?
I think it's on United. But yeah, Delta got rid of Tip Top.
Oh wow,
which I think is so dumb and with no explanation. And I'm like, that used to be, especially like on a long haul flight.
Right.
I'm like, I'll have a Tip Top Old Fashioned, or I'll have like the margarita.
That's so interesting. I did not know that.
So especially when all the other airlines are adding it, it felt so stupid to me. Anyways, Delta, add back Tip Top.
Yeah,
I'm not paid to say that.
Or someone else get Tip Top.
Yeah,
they're apparently available.
Yeah, exactly. Great, cool.
Yeah,
that's always your move.
I mean, when it's there, that's what I'm going to go for. Because the truth is like, none of the other stuff really appeals to me anymore. Like I don't want I'll have a whiskey ginger on a plane if I have to, if that's like the extent of what's offered. But just like, I don't know, man, like I'm 41 years old. I want to have a cocktail. I don't need to be like mixing my own drinks, in like a plastic cup, like I'm still 24 years old or whatever.
Yeah. True.
Someone should just serve them in solo cups and make it official. Like that's what I feel like. I'm like, I don't need this.
That's what we're doing here. Well, it's funny though too, because on the plane, right, they give you usually the double too.
Right.
So like, here's 2 of them, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be that kind of flight.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever like purchased alcohol on a plane.
I did when I was younger.
Right. Mm-hmm. And now we all fly in a nice enough class.
Right.
where we don't have to.
Yeah. But I'm also, I don't like to. I'm not a big like flight drinker, pre-flight drinker.
You're
I'll have
not?
like a beer. No, I can't. I'll feel like crap if I like drink too much. I can't like get wasted on a plane.
Oh,
that's
I don't
a
get
different
wasted.
story. Yeah,
Well, some people do.
Oh yeah.
Well, we know those people, but they don't work here.
Right.
I do not get wasted on the plane, but I will have a drink or 2 before.
I feel like you're like a whiskey and a beer person before.
No.
That's what I've.
So I like the gin and
experience
tonic.
with you.
I like the beer. No, that was at a layover.
Okay.
Remember when we got screwed in Atlanta, and then I was like, we're just sitting in Atlanta in the Delta Lounge, and then yes, I got a whiskey and a beer because I was like,
there's
too bad.
if there's a layover involved, all bets are off. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't care
a
what time of
delayed
day
layover,
it is. Like,
a delayed layover, which is what we were. Then you're just like, here we go. I mean, I'm not double fisting it. Prosecco, but some other people do.
That's
I
wild.
definitely
That
had
was
like
a wild
2
thing to do.
pilsners at like the Frankfurt airport in Germany at like I think 7 a.m. on my way to wine like 7 years ago. I was like, I need a drink.
I will tell you the other thing. I've never really been a big airport martini person.
Yeah, you can't trust it.
Not only that, it's like too much booze to the face. That I also like. I will have usually in a lounge, and only also. I'm also not one of these believers. I know that people love this. I think it's like a thing. Like it's always okay to drink in the airport. If I'm flying out of New York somewhere, I get it. If it's a layover, you finally landed in Europe, you're on vacation, etc. You can have that drink in the morning. But for me, if it's in the afternoon or evening, I'll have like 1 or 2 drinks. It's usually like, okay, fine, probably like a little bit of like a whiskey. Maybe it's like a thing of whiskey, or it's a beer, or it's a sessionable. I like the gin and tonic. I think it's a good move. Like something that's also hydrating you, because I also like want to walk to my gate and like be aware of what the fuck is going on.
Right,
Do you know what I mean?
right.
Yeah,
and you kind of feel like a little bit when you have like a martini.
Yeah.
That even if it's only 1 martini, you're like, oh shit, like I now gotta like really refocus.
What if you have
here.
a horrible like plane, like you have a cancellation or something, and then you have to deal with that?
I want to be like, I want to have
having-
my wits about me.
Yeah.
And then usually when I get on the plane, when they come around for service, depending on where I'm sitting, it'll be like either a beer or a glass of wine or whatever. And then especially if it's an overnight flight, like you had the red eye, then I just want to go to bed.
Right. Well, that was what the old fashioned was for.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I'm not a huge drinker. I've never understood people that like want to get wasted on the plane. Because I'm like, you gotta land and be wasted.
Yeah.
And maybe you're good at sobering up, but like, no, you're not.
The only exception I can imagine is like if ever in my life I'm on like a 14-hour business class flight with a pod, and I'm like, I'll have like 3 drinks, and then I'll like sleep it off before we land.
Yeah,
I could see that maybe working, but I have never done that. I've never been on a flight that long, thankfully.
Yeah.
So, okay, enough about what I drank.
Yes.
Joanna, how about you?
Well, I haven't really had anything because I've been sick. So
No, you've just been
Pass
saving it
It's
for
like,
all
it's like me.
year.
It's like me. It's like me.
yeah,
You know, you're
yes,
just
yeah.
living
Sometimes you just can't.
You just can't do it. For me, we had some friends over for dinner over the last weekend, and I had a bottle in the wine fridge that I'd gotten a long time ago, Clos Mogador, from when I'd like visited there.
Oh, cool.
Like, a long time ago, 2015. Opened it, had it with like a ribeye that I made, and a like tomato salad, because I think it was kind of like the last weekend that tomatoes were so good. They're over now.
Yeah,
It's over.
they're still at the market, but
I never understand that. What are they doing at the market in October?
They've been
they're
in a
still there.
very, very refrigerated space for a long time.
Yeah. And the farmers are like, we need to still sell these.
yeah.
But yeah, so I had that, and then another night, like just had a nice bottle of Pinot Noir, like with some chili that I made while I watched Auburn lose yet again.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yet again. 4 in a row.
Oof. Maybe you need something stronger than Pinot Noir next time.
Oh no, so I stayed up late because it was a late game, and I FaceTimed 2 friends at the end of the game when we went to overtime, watching us lose. Like we're all calling it, and one of my buddies was in the hospital, literally between surgeries, watching with us in his scrubs.
Working, not receiving surgery.
Like
Okay,
working,
good.
working. The other one, who's also a doctor, is at home, and then me. And so the one of them, when the game's over, is like, I gotta go back into surgery. The other guy's like, I'm on call tomorrow morning, I gotta go. And I'm like, I'm having a nip of whiskey. This was the worst game ever. So I had to pour myself some Knob Creek 18 that Josh had given me for my birthday.
There you
Because
go.
I was
it's
just
regular
like,
season, right?
yeah, but that's all we have in college. You don't understand.
Okay.
Like,
Wow, that's all Auburn has.
yeah, well, that's all Auburn's had for a long time. Okay, it's really bad. Hopefully, we fire the coach.
Right.
But yeah. So, anyways, what we wanted to talk about today is a wild and crazy unhinged interview that happened on Fox Business. From I don't know if anyone. I never met Charles Smith personally. I think
I sure
him.
have.
That motherfucker feels like he's a nut job. Makes a lot of wines. Makes he makes kung fu.
Yeah,
Queen.
Kung Fu Girl Riesling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's sold a bunch of brands,
yes.
right? He's wildly successful for how nuts he is.
Well, sometimes being nuts helps, I think.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So I feel like he's like the first like nuts winemaker. Do you know what I mean? Like there was other ones, but like publicly, like, and then, there's other people that are like, oh, we can step into this fold. Like Dave Finney's like comes marching in. Like, I can do this. I can play this character too. And like, I feel like Randall Graham kind of did, but on like the more fun, like trying to be a little more fine wine side.
He's like more kooky than nuts.
Yeah,
kooky. Charles Smith.
That's a distinction that matters, folks.
Charles Smith literally looks like every time I see him on any program that he's just come out of a bathroom stall having done coke. Like that is
no comment.
He looks like a character.
Absolutely no comment.
Just like blown 3 lines straight out of the bathroom. Like wine is awesome. Like that's all I can think of when I think of Charles Smith. So anyways, he did this unhinged interview. Why are you saying that you've?
I was going to say, tell us your relationship.
No comment.
To Charles Smith.
I refuse to comment on this matter. I will just say, I don't know what he's like in his personal life, but it is not just a persona that comes out on Fox Business. I will tell you that much.
Yeah. So goes on Fox Business and he's basically like, all wine's horrible for you, which I'm like, you're doing nobody any help here, buddy.
Right.
But I got this new wine called Real Wine.
And it's only grapes.
It's the
only wine that's only grapes, basically.
Right. So, first of all, unhinged. Thanks a lot also, Charles, for reinforcing all this shit for all of us.
Right.
And especially to like the manosphere, basically, that probably watches Fox Business and then going to parrot this shit back to fucking, Huberman and all these people. But whatever, Charles, we get it. You got to make your coin. It's okay. But yeah, so he went on there and it sort of, we don't want to shit on that interview because like it's so crazy that I feel like you just got to watch it for yourself and be like, yeah, this guy's nuts and he's rebranding natural wine as real wine, all that stuff. But more to talk, the three of us, about like how much do we actually think at this point consumers care, right? And how much there's been a lot of talk about labeling on wine, nutrition labeling, ingredient labeling, and the reason I was thinking about this as I watched the interview and then thought about it, I was like, I wonder if people even saw what was in the wine, they would care, know what it was, look it up to figure it out, anything.
Right.
Like, would they care? Or would they continue to buy it if they liked it? And like one of the key examples that I gave you guys before we started recording is Goldfish.
Right.
The cracker. Okay. Like it had the ingredients in that product are horrible for you. Horrible for you.
No wonder my kids love them so much.
Yeah.
Right.
It is crack. Charles Smith likes Coke. It's fine.
Right.
So it's crack, right?
Right.
It is super addictive. It is designed so that you don't feel full, right?
Yeah.
It's salty. It's like umami. It's crack.
Right.
Everyone knows this. It's been reported that these things are not great for us and people keep buying them, right? People keep giving it to their kids.
Right.
Like I see it all over the playground, right?
Yep.
Why? Because it's a convenient snack and the kids like it, and so people give it.
Yeah.
So do we think, like, if you were told, the consumer was like, ingredient labeling is happening, and the average Stella Rosa consumer, fuck it, not Stella Rosa, the Prisoner consumer,
right?
Turned a bottle of Prisoner around and was like, holy shit, there's 57 grams of sugar in this shit. And they've mega purpled it out the ass. And like, there's so much additives in fucking the Prisoner that it's basically radioactive.
If people told you that.
If people told you that, which it probably is. Let's be clear. It's the Prisoner. It literally is. It is as dirty as prison wine.
Stop.
Okay?
Man.
Stop.
I think.
Do you think people would, I think Prisoner drinkers would still be like, oh, for sure.
I think plenty of people would. I do think that there is a real reason why a lot of the like more commercial wine industry has largely resisted ingredient labeling. And it's because, I think the sugar content is a big part of it, because that's a very, I guess, pardon the
no
pun.
one wants to know, but they don't care, dude.
Well, but that's the point, is if it's obfuscated enough for them that they don't have to think about it. Like, I don't know if you've had this experience. I have had this experience, and I will give you a very direct example.
Okay.
A thing that I used to love is the Costco hot dog.
Okay.
$1.50, best value in dining.
I've never had the Costco hot dog.
Okay, well, you lived in New York. The nearest Costco hot dog is far too far away from where we are currently recording this. But because of laws that were put in place, which I think are good, with requiring mandatory calorie counts on menus for anything, any larger venue, like any, fast food places, etc.
Yeah.
Now, when I walk into Costco and I look at the board and I say, oh, wow, that Costco hot dog is like 1,000 calories, I can't justify it to myself. If it wasn't up there, would I have a Costco hot dog more often? You damn well better believe it. And I think this is what we're talking about. Like the ingredient labeling, like there is a kernel of truth to this. If you don't have to know consciously in your face what's in it, it's much easier to tell yourself, it's wine, it's good for me, or it's not bad for me, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I think like as crazy as the interview is, I think there is a kernel of truth in the idea that like a lot of people are either actually ignorant or willfully ignorant about what is in wine or can be in wine. This is where I hate this kind of conversation because it's all speculative. It's all, well, this could be in there.
Yeah.
And you know, we can talk about examples like The Prisoner or other mass-produced wines where surely more is in that than just grapes. I think that's a very safe thing to say.
Yes.
But fundamentally, what I dislike is, well, okay, this could be in here and not disclosed. It doesn't mean it is. And some of the things that are on those lists, I would be shocked if it was in any meaningful amount of wine out there. It's just, you know, they're just things that are technically allowed under the current laws. So I think there is like, I think it's more like, I don't think ingredient labeling helps the wines that are, you know, not using much in the way of inputs besides like, you know, grapes and yeast and stuff like that. I don't think it helps them. I think it would hurt brands that are a lot of other things besides those because, and especially with the sugar count and stuff like that, I think it would be, you know, would sort of pierce that sort of veil of ignorance for people.
Yeah.
See, I feel like yes and no.
Okay.
So I think it would matter to the same people like yourself that have been influenced by calorie numbers. And I am in that camp as well. When I see certain, like if I go to fast food, like on the road trip or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I used to get like the McDonald's, like 2 cheeseburger deal, whatever. I think I'm going to go with the 1 because this is horrible for me. And that's like, for sure. I think that is a very, not a small, but a subset of the population that is currently that would move over. There's also already a subset of the population that already doesn't drink those wines because they're doing their own research and figured out that like they want to just drink wines made by, you know, independent producers who they think are doing things more sustainably, et cetera. We talk about that as being basically us, right? We don't drink a lot of these mass-produced wines. But I don't think that the core consumer, it will matter to, because the core consumer is drinking Coke still. And like the numbers on those bottles are, when I see how much sugar is in those things, I'm just like, shit, that is so high. And people do not care and drink. I mean, there are people making videos on Instagram and TikTok, like defending like the Coke only diet and things like that. Right. And like, it's all I drink and I love it and blah, blah, blah. Coca-Cola, it's America. I think that consumer won't care. I do feel like there probably will be a space in the mass produced wine area where you will start to see some differentiation where some brands come out specifically to counter the Prisoner. Like we taste like the Prisoner, but are half the sugar. Like that is what it will actually open up is the allowance for ad campaigns, right? Where they can directly care.
People should not do.
Right. But they will do it.
Yeah.
But again, big brand to big brand. I mean, think about it with a lot of these things, like half the calories for
the corn
beer,
syrup
right?
thing.
I mean, look at the beer low calorie wars that have been going on.
That is what Michelob is. I mean, that is what Michelob Ultra, the number one beer in America,
is. Dealer 64.
No, what was it?
High fructose corn syrup. Well, wait, what?
What was the whole, like there was a whole thing with the beer and the corn and the beer, right? The big brands.
I don't
going
remember.
After. Okay.
Budweiser, maybe.
Yeah, it was Budweiser.
But I mean, that's all. Michelob Ultra is a complete reaction to every other beer saying we are low calorie. You know, we are low carb. Like, and they're saying. So I think you will see that in wine.
Yeah.
But I think that the amount of sugar and other things, glycerin, et cetera, that are put in some of these wines deliver the flavor profile that a lot of consumers want.
Right.
And they don't care. Now the problem is that the only positive I see is that hopefully what this will do is help explain to them, right?
Consumers.
Why they're actually getting hungover.
Maybe,
right? Like it's not the actual sulfites that you're reading about when you're going online. It's the fucking sugar.
Right.
Right. It's that you basically drank a chocolate cake's worth of sugar in an evening. And like, that's going to suck all the blood from your brain as your body goes to flush the alcohol and the sugar out of your body.
Right.
So it needs like, and that's what's going to give you a pounding headache the next day. But like, I don't even think people will care about that.
Right.
You know, so the only way I could see it maybe matter is, and this would happen, right? I guess. So it's not even like a maybe if it would happen, but like if you have a thing like the Yuka app,
Okay.
which has become like super popular now, which for those who are not familiar with the Yuka app is an app that allows you to basically like scan a label. So you can scan like the barcode of any product out there, packaged good out there, and it will run through a list of like, here are the ingredients, here are the additives, and it scores them. Now, there's a lot of like nutritionists that are like, don't love its scoring system.
Right.
But then it will give you a score out of 100. And it'll say like, oh, so for example, goldfish get a 0.
Right.
Okay.
Out of 100. Right. Some cookies that I've scanned randomly in Trader Joe's get like a 17 out of 100.
This is primarily used by parents.
It's used by a lot of parents. But then, you know, you can get, obviously it'll score like 100 out of 100 for a steak.
Right.
Or it's like pure protein, whatever. But it will also say like what additives are, there's not enough research on whether or not they're problematic for your health. There's a ton of research that these are problematic for your health. These are additives, but we found they do nothing really to you.
Right.
Right. If that then, you know, if Yuka or someone else internalized all the wine additives, right, and said here, then maybe people would start to care if you had enough people who were scanning.
Right.
And it might change some consumer behaviors. But otherwise, I think just seeing the calories and sugar, especially for some of those wines, won't matter because like for the prisoners of the world, like that's a treat myself wine.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right that it could cause some people to kind of look at it and be like, well, there's this other thing that maybe I like almost as much that's half the sugar, half the calories, whatever. Maybe that's my option. I do think that the bigger thing is like it would a little bit force there to be some confrontation of a tension in the industry of like, you can't really deliver under $10 bottles of wine without the use of, you know, at least grape concentrate, things like that. Like it's just like it's not really possible to do in the way that like, you know, if you're just growing grapes in a vineyard, picking them and like making them into wine, like it's just, in this country, there's like a hard like floor that, you know, just, I mean, including things like the cost of a bottle and a cork and shipping, like you just can't get wine down to that price point without using, you know, some mass production technique. And that is like a thing where I think, you know, in the same way that like goldfish, the fact that they like don't ever rot or go bad. Ever. I mean, they go stale, but they don't like, but like they're not like the microbial world is like, what do we do with this?
Yeah, we can't
digest this. Like the fact of that means like you, whether knowingly or not, as a person who's consuming goldfish or giving them to your kids, has to be like, well, there's reasons for this that maybe I don't want to interrogate too deeply. I'm having a lot of guilt because my kids eat a lot of goldfish. I'm feeling terrible about this right now. But in the same way that like for wine people, like sometimes I have this conversation and have with people who, you know, sometimes it was in the restaurant or even in other settings where people push back on the cost of wine. And I say like, well, okay, think about this from your perspective, right? It takes like 8 pounds of grapes to make a bottle of wine, give or take. What would you comfortably pay for 8 pounds of grapes, like to eat on the table? It's like, would you pay $4? Would you have some questions about how those grapes are grown?
Grapes are expensive.
Grapes are
by the pound.
And so yeah, like so my point is like, and wine grapes are also expensive as it turns out. And so my point is like, you know, to people, like if you don't want to think too much about this, that's fine. Like I'm not saying everything you consume you have to be like super vigilant about. Some people are, lots of people are not. But I do think that when that stuff is in people's faces more, even if it's just on the back label, yes, not every single person who drinks the Prisoner is going to be like, well, actually, I'm going to drink, you know, something else. I think it's more that for those companies, any deterioration in their customer base, even if it's 5% or 10% of people who look at that and go like, something else, or like, maybe I'm only going to have this once a week instead of twice a week. Like that's real dollars.
That is.
For big brands like that.
Which is why no one wants it.
And so that's my point is like, it doesn't have to be like everyone abandons the product. Just a small percentage, either abandoning or declining their consumption, is a big financial impact. And that's why I think like for all of Charles's ranting, I don't think it's going to change anything because there's none of the big players are incentivized to do anything about it. You know, I just think there's not.
Or they couldn't. They can't really.
Well, I mean, there's some legal reasons, but also there's just no one is pushing. I mean, there are people in the industry who have pushed for it. They are not people who are running the big wine companies and the big brands because fundamentally, like they just have too much to lose. Even the ones that are not super manipulated. They just still, I think, don't want, because it fundamentally.
Sorry, you're talking about labeling, or you're talking about like, production?
Labeling.
Yeah.
Because I think fundamentally, what it comes back to is, even for people whose wine is, relatively cleanly made in the way that we're talking about it, I don't think a lot of people in wine really want consumers to be like thoroughly interrogating they want wine to be, what you said it was, a treat. They don't want people to think of wine as like a thing that they comparison shop for its nutritional value against other wines, other beverages, other things that people could be using, because then it ends up like my Costco hot dog, and they just go like, do I really need that tonight? And I think wine does not want that to be they want you to want it every night,
right?
Ideally for a lot of people, and the more you make people think about that consumption decision, the riskier that gets for something that is still, frankly, like a luxury in a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I do think, even thinking about it connected to like the grape concentrate, et cetera, right? We know there's the difference between Tropicana and like Nellie's orange juice or whatever, where there's no way.
Natalie's,
sorry. Thank
or
you.
Nellie's. Probably Nellie makes juice somewhere.
Right, where like, probably it takes way more oranges than you would think to make a bottle of orange juice, which is why we use orange juice concentrate to pump out Tropicana.
And that's why Natalie's is very expensive.
Yeah, and nobody seems to like really question what the orange juice concentrate is, but I agree. I think it's more about the calories and those things and the sugar content at the night where you're saying, and then you are having that conversation with yourself of like, well, I was going to have chocolate tonight, but then I looked at the back of the chocolate bar and I don't know, like I felt good about what I did today. I feel like I was like, whereas like if you go to a small bake shop in the city, grab a cup of coffee and there's a cookie there and there's no calories, like, I'm going to get a cookie.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't even think that what the calories are there because no one's telling you.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that is probably the larger resistance is that it's exactly what you're saying. I don't think that it's the risk of the ingredients, of knowing the ingredients. It's the risk of the calories and the sugar for
the nutritional
all
value
of wine.
Yeah.
For the high-end producers and the low end. Right. I don't think there's going to be enough of like, oh, well, you use sulfites and I don't, that people will care. It's going to be, oh, shit, this bottle of wine is 20,000 calories. I'm making it up. Thousands of calories.
How many is a large bottle of wine?
Yeah. Or one serving is way more sugar than I thought I was going to ingest, And
it's
you're
so
just like,
funny
nope.
because that information is available.
It is.
You can
but
easily
are you
look
looking
that
for
up.
it?
I have absolutely looked that up in the past.
But it's gross generalizations. And that's the thing too, is like, that's, I think Adam's point is like, the brands, the large scale wines that have a lot of sugar in them benefit from the sort of like, if you Google like how much sugar is in a glass of red wine, you get like
general,
you get sort of an average or like whatever number Google AI hallucinates these days. It says like it has negative grams of sugar in it or something.
That serving that you definitely stick to, whatever it is, 3 or 4 ounces.
Exactly. It's the 8/10 of an ounce.
Do you sit there measuring that out? No, you did not.
So I think that like the brands that are on the high end benefit from the sort of generalization. But I do think that at a certain point where you're getting wines that don't have, much in the way of residual sugar, there you're probably not having a ton of differentiation in calorie count because like alcohol level also obviously determines that. But I think it's more like the group of wines we're talking about where I think you would see actually pretty stark differences between things that sit on the highest end that do have a lot of sugar and are high alcohol versus wines that may be high alcohol but no little residual sugar, or even wines that are lower in alcohol and lower in residual sugar, where there could be a real appreciable difference in the amount of calories per serving. And that I think would perhaps shift consumer behavior. I just think no one who plays in those spaces is interested in like shaking the box up that much.
My take is that this only matters for a very small group of people.
Right.
Because you know what? That hot dog still fucking sells.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. And like so many people don't give a shit. They know the calories and they still don't care. They drink the Coke.
Yep.
Yeah.
They drink the bottle of wine. Maybe people would be more mindful of like serving sizes. Like maybe I'll have 1 glass of wine tonight instead of like the half a bottle.
You're saying I should just eat half a hot dog?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Half a hot dog.
But I don't think that it's the same thing. It's the goldfish conversation. It's the same thing you both were saying. Like people still eat and consume these things, they haven't gone away.
Right.
I don't know if goldfish sales going down.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine in the Jabal household, I can tell you that much.
I think the
Zach is
goldfish.
single-handedly keeping goldfish.
keeping
Well, it's more like
alive.
Lila and Solomon. I don't really eat them, but that's not
Okay, so I don't get goldfish because I thought they're bad for their teeth, and I'm scared about the teeth. So
No,
they
he has
grow a whole new
other-
set of teeth.
I know he has other cheddar crackers. They're just
Right.
not goldfish.
Which cheddar crackers? Cheez-Its?
Annie's.
Yeah.
That's the same.
No, they're not goldfish. I was
They're
raised on
bunnies.
Pepperidge Farm,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
I
right,
like
right.
Pepperidge Farm.
Yeah.
I had Milano cookies. Fucking.
Those are
Chessman,
good. Those are good.
Chessman.
Oh, those are great too. Chef's kiss.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to Cookie Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pepperidge Farm. If you want to sponsor us, let us know. And yeah, it's been
Just
great.
imagine how great this podcast would be if we were eating cookies the whole time.
Hey, we'll have them for the next episode. It's been great having you in the studio. We should have had some cookies.
Yes, next time we will.
Yeah.
We'll have
So
snacks.
I'll talk to you both on Thursday, and yeah, all good.
Have an awesome week drinking, Zach.
Sounds great.
Thanks so much for listening to the VinePair podcast, the flagship podcast of the VinePair Podcast Network. If you love this podcast, please leave us a rating or review wherever it is that you are currently listening to it on. It really helps other people discover the show. Also, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your colleagues. Basically, tell anyone about the VinePair podcast. It's always very appreciated, especially by Joanna. The podcast is hosted by myself, Adam Teeter, our editor-in-chief, Joanna Sherino, and Zach Jabal, former sommelier from Seattle, Washington. As we all know, it is edited by Darby Seaside. Theme music also by Darby Seaside. Art for the podcast by Daniel Grinberg. VinePair was co-founded by myself and Josh Mallon. Thanks so much again for listening, and we will see you again the next time you listen to an episode. If you made it all the way through these credits, I again consider you a super fan.